His Excellency the Consular General of Sri Lanka and UAE, distinguished invitees, my dear learning partners and their spouses and their family members. It gives me delight to be with you all this wonderful night. I will call it a bright night with delight. So it's a way of getting together, celebrating the success. So let me at the outset congratulate all of you all for being present here to witness this wonderful night of delight. So I think since I'm not going to give a lecture, it's appropriate for me to come forward and to share some thoughts. And I know for sure I'm standing in between you and your delightful night with dance, singing and other frolics. So just to share some thoughts, and I promise I will not talk about PIM. And I also promise I will not talk about MBA. And I will talk something about which is relevant to us together with our family members. Something related to team at work as well as team at home. It's how we grow ourselves in our lives. And I see a lot of members of the next generation, little ones, and how to groom them for future. How to take care of ourselves and how to take care of others. And I would call this how to ensure peak performance in our lives. So I was inspired by this wonderful article written by Lower and Schwartz to Harvard Business Review. And they talk about peak performance pyramid, which has a very high Eastern significance, which has very high relevance to Eastern religions. So the starting point of this peak performance pyramid is the physical capacity development, physical capacity. So we as a nation were proudly telling in the past, Arogya Paramalabha, health is the best profit. But sadly, now we have compelled to say, Arogya Shala Paramalabha. Hospitals are making profits. And sometimes when a patient comes to a hospital, the doctors look at the patient and say, Arogya Paramalabha. So that's the pathetic plight that we are in. Sometimes people go for high society parties and they talk about full option and semi-option. So what is semi-option? High blood pressure, cholesterol, arthritis, varicose veins, and why not full option? Still the bypass has not yet been done. So still semi-option. So this is the plight that we are in. Someone has done a nice comparison. In 18th century, a Sri Lankan on average walked 10 kilometers per day. And now we don't walk even 1 kilometer per day because everything is remotely controlled. But there's a dangerous sign, that is, we eat more than what they ate. So when we eat more than what they ate and when we work less than what they did, the prosperity comes over. Iron started coming all around. And that is the sad part. And there was this interesting scenario. There was a expecting wife. The husband was a wealthy businessman who has prosperity all over. And they used to go and meet the gynecologist once a month. And they had a lovely little daughter. I see a beautiful daughter here. So the doctor was so fond of the little girl. So the doctor was asking from the little girl, and the daughter said, both were like this. I hope that will not happen to all of us, including me, because the problem is we are only worried about Deshapalanaya and we ignore Dehapalana. We don't take care of our physical front. Because physical being, the physical body is the vehicle that takes us through the journey of life. So we need to take care of our physical front. And when I mentioned this during a recent seminar, a person whom I met after 3 months, he said, Sir, straight went to a sporting equipment selling store and bought an Obi-Track. So I asked, what is the Obi-Track now? Oh, the Obi-Track has become the towel rack. Obi-Track has become the towel rack. I hope that will not be the case for you. And when I was in Nigambu, I started jogging every weekend. When first I start to walk, and the walk becomes jogging because the dogs start chasing me. So some exercise is built into life. That is what is needed. So you need to take care of your physical front. And think about the food that we eat. Junk food, fast food, quick food. Take breakfast for an example. The experts say, what should we eat for breakfast? Cereals, fruits, vegetables, and so on. But what do we eat in Sri Lanka in particular? Chinese rolls, patties, cutlet. The per capita consumption of Chinese rolls in Sri Lanka is far higher than that in China. That is the record that we have created. So we got to take care of our physical front. So physical well-being is the first thing. Physical capacity is the first thing. And if you look at Satipatthana Sutra, this is explained as Kayanupassana, physical intelligence. Then comes on top of that, mental. It's not what we say in Sinhala, Arayata mental, Mayata mental. No, not that mental. It's all about developing your knowledge and skills. It's about sharpening your upstairs, sharpening your mind. Sometimes you might have all the qualifications. I tell this to our MBA graduates all the time. You might have all the qualifications in the world, all the letters in the alphabet after your surname. But still, if you are not up to date, if you are not upgraded, if you are not up to the current level, something is missing. So what is the best source of information we have to update ourselves? I would call it internet. Internet is full of facts and figures. But unfortunately, we go to internet not to find facts, but to find figures. But to find nice figures. So then internet becomes the gossip name. Antarjale, Janjale, Pelai, Namal. So you got to ensure that you are having the cutting edge knowledge. The world has always been divided into two eras. Before Christ, after Christ. Before Buddha, after Buddha. Now the latest division is the digital division. BG and AG. Before Google, after Google. So why fear when Google is there? You can just click a button and get everything from Google. So that's a mental capacity development. Being updated, sharpening your mind. So that is what we say Chittanupassana in Satipatthana. And then on top of that, physical capacity, mental capacity, you need to develop emotional capacity. Emotional intelligence is a hot topic in management. Of course, my MBA learning partners would have heard this from me. The problem is we narrowly associate intelligence with studying, reading, writing, mathematics. That era is gone. Intelligence go far beyond. The problem is some people successfully pass examinations, but they miserably fail in life. Vibhage pass, Jivite fail. Udeta depa, Hausat Siva. This is the fundamental issue that we have. So we got to take care of our emotional front. That is important. So you have physical capacity, mental capacity, emotional capacity. Vedananupassana. And the pinnacle of it is spiritual capacity. Spiritual. So what is spirituality? There is a difference between being religious and being spiritual. You can go to mosque, kovin, temple, church every day, but still you might not be spiritual. Ensure balance in all four fronts. We become imbalanced in this rapidly changing world. We become imbalanced in this hastily, chaotic, turbulent world. So you got to have harmony. You got to have balance, then only you will have inner peace. So, all what I have to say during this bright night with delight is to reflect yourself, refresh yourself and relate to the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual well-being. If you do that, the world will be a better place to live. I was telling the other day at the MBA inauguration what Martin Luther King said. Scientific power has overpowered spiritual power. That's why we have guided missiles and misguided men. Guided missiles handled by misguided men. The very recent incident involving India and Pakistan is a classic case in point for that. And what happened between Kim Jong-il and Donald Trump also proved the same thing. Guided missiles with misguided men. So it's time for us to go back to our roots. And we produce leaders with global presence and local pulse. with the right value framework, with the right value base. So the next generation who are here, I hope they will be groomed with right set of values, proper balance, proper harmony. Then we will have humane generation in future. Not overly high tech, but also high touch as well. High tech, high touch harmony is what we need in future. So thank you very much for inviting me for this bright night with delight. And I am tired. I had been lecturing for 9 hours for the whole day. 3 hours last night, 9 hours today, 9 hours tomorrow, 21 hours consecutively before I fly tomorrow night. So let me wish all the very best for the wonderful endeavors of PIMA-UAE. And I always say, as I mentioned in my message, PIMA-UAE is PIM's pride. PIM is as good as it shall be. So I am humbly happy to be your patron. It gives me immense satisfaction, immense delight. I think they deserve another big round of applause. Give a big round of applause. And I see sometimes people whom we don't appreciate much. Today is the International Women's Day. And I always say in Colombo, Sri Lanka, I always say the family members are neglected when we put in 12 hours of work. I go to work every day at 8 a.m. and when the lectures are over, it is 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. So I think that family members who are represented here, I think they deserve a big round of applause. Big round of applause. And finally, I think future belongs to those who create it. We are in the journey of creating the future. So we need to dare to dream and dare to do and achieving what is seeming impossible today. My final thought is about our country. Our country do not belong to politicians. Our country belongs to professionals, and our country belongs to the little ones. So keep that in mind all the time. Rather than cursing the darkness, let's light a candle. Everyone can be a point of light. And I see the beautiful traditional oil lamp, and it reminds me of what Subhashita poet said. Pahanin pahan siya garanak dalluwada e pahan sile alu adunowa dilena leda lowan satun gunapala karamin dibanda supasan gunin vajabeti sudano pabanda. When one lamp lights hundreds of other lamps, the original lamp will not lose its light. That is the role of us. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to be a point of light, and we can enlighten others as true human beings. Dalu pahan, dalu tibeva, sundu petum, dalula vedeva. May I wish all the very best for you, your families, and your future endeavors, and Kusal with your dynamic team, with PIMA-UAE chapter, with the wonderful website, all the future plans, all aspirant leaders, and may I wish all the very best for every Sri Lankan staying in the UAE. Good luck, all the very best. Thank you very much.